So, guys, Counselor Deanna Troi, played by the great Marina Sirtis, on the bridge on Captain Picard's, Jean-Luc Picard's Enterprise D bridge. A counselor, a therapist, you might even say a shrink. And she's right there. She's on the bridge of the 1701D. So, over the years, people have said, well, wait a minute, should she be there? Aside from her empathic Betazoid powers that would kick in, of course, not all the time, maybe even sporadically, some would say, but should she have been on Captain Picard's bridge? Let's explore. Okay, so let me just start off full revelation. I'll reveal I love Troi. I think Marina Sirtis, not that she's underrated. Everyone who knows Star Trek The Next Generation knows what a great actress she is. But I think some people might, gravitate and say Patrick Stewart, Brent Spiner, sure. But Marina Sirtis, when you look at the whole cast, and they were all great, but Sirtis has such a great range to her. And I think just for that alone, there's no better spot and place to put her in than right on the bridge. So we meet Deanna Troi, we meet the counselor of Captain Picard's starship in the first season, and right away we come to know that she had a prior relationship, a romantic relationship with Picard's first officer, William T. Riker. And this alone, I think, is a great example of what Gene Roddenberry and his writers did for Next Generation. Getting away, as good as the original series, was, there was no really romance, aside from Kirk with all his alien women, maybe. There was no, inter-office, inter-starship romance. And here, right from the get-go, right from the pilot, Encounter at Farpoint, we meet a romantic couple, a couple that used to be romantic, and will they rekindle their romance? So then Troi and Riker would play a part as a couple throughout the show, but this is about Counselor Troi and her placement on the bridge. There she is, episode from episode, helpful to be sure with Picard, but there is a faction, I would even say not a small faction and segment of the fan base that is like, you know what? Troi should just be in her office. Keep her in her therapist's office there, and then, maybe once in a while she's called on the bridge. Maybe when a alien race is first encountered, or some new dilemma is challenging Picard on the bridge, then she's called up. And again, I have no problem with it there, but a lot of people go, she's sort of dead weight. I think in many ways too, of course, when you look at the change from the original series to Next Generation, you've got this sort of trio. You have Picard, Riker, and Troi as sort of a little, three.
Accessing library computer data.
Dare I say bridge threesome, to get away from that one big center seat. And even though, of course, Picard's got his great, captain's chair, it is now sort of a trio, a triumvirate, a threesome on Picard's bridge. So then, aside from all the, her empathic powers work some of the time, I would say most of the time, right? The good portion of the time, she gives insight. Oh, Captain, he's lying or he's hiding something. Other times she can't scan, or, it doesn't work. The race is sort of non-telepathic, or they have a block or something. But for the most part, she's helpful. And she also, of course, is a therapist, a psychologist, if you will. She has behavioral sciences under her belt, we're pretty sure, right? So even when the powers aren't at the ready and not available, she can look at a situation and sort of glean things through her, say, degrees, her psychological background and experience. So I think when weighed and focused in on that she is a part of that trio of Picard and Riker, her experience, her training as a psychologist, as a therapist, and then you have her powers. So I think people quite maybe unfairly focus too much on her powers when her therapeutic, counseling, psychological background can be just as helpful. And of course, if Troi wasn't on the bridge, we wouldn't have the great scene in Generations when she sort of ditches the whole saucer section onto the planet, which might be a bit unfair, but it's always fun to play around with. So there you go. Deanna Troi, Counselor Troi, one of my favorite characters. What about you? Hope you're subscribing. Hope you're enjoying. See you soon.